Hello and welcome to the Queen Slayer. It's your girl, the Mad Queen, and in today's video, we're going to continue on our All About series as we dive into Triki. But before we jump into the video, make sure to hit subscribe, like the video, and if you want to be notified every time I post new content, hit that notification bell. If you're interested in learning more in depth about other Espers, you can check out my channel for more of my All About videos. Triki is a legendary control Esper that can also serve as a DPS unit, or in easier terms, a damage dealing Esper. Green Flames is the name of his first ability. He attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit does damage based on 30% of his overall attack, and the second hit does damage based on 80% of his overall attack. But once you have that skill maxed out, that changes to 110% damage on that second hit. Each hit will transfer one of the debuffs on him to the targeted enemy as long as it isn't resisted. If he successfully transfers a debuff, he has a 50% chance of stunning the enemy for 1 turn. That chance increases to 70% once the skill is fully leveled up. His second ability, Gambit, is a passive ability. It says that if an enemy causes their allies' debuffs to end early, then it reduces the enemy's HP by 30%, dispels all buffs from the enemy, and inflicts petrification for 1 turn. What that's basically saying is that if the enemy team has a debuff, and someone on that team takes it off or cleanses it, then the Esper that did the cleanse will lose 30% of their current HP, and it will then take off all the buffs the enemy has, and then it will also place petrification, which just means that they cannot take an action, so basically they lose a turn. Revolver, his third ability, attacks all enemies 3 times. Every hit has a 65% chance to take off 1 buff from each enemy, and the first hit with this ability will also extend any debuffs the enemy has by 1 turn already. Each of these hits inflicts Miss Rate Up for 2 turns. Miss Rate Up is a debuff that will give the attacker a 50% chance of missing on their attack, which can be great for really strong Espers that deal a lot of damage. It could definitely keep you in the fight just a little bit longer if it's able to land and proc. And lastly, his Captain ability increases the accuracy of all of his allies by 40% if you place him in the lead. His best uses are in the Point War and Fafnir. He can also be used situationally in the tower on stages that have cleansers. Unfortunately, I do not have all of the heroes for these team compositions, so I will not be able to do a preview of all of them, but instead I will go ahead and talk about all of these teams and put a visual up on the screen. Before we go any farther, leave a comment below and let me know how you like to use your Triki and any recommendations you might have that I don't mention. Triki's best recommended teams for Point War are Longmane, Jan, Eunice, and Poseidon, or Gabby, Clara, Donar, and Barden. He can also be paired with other Espers like Tai, Queen Mother, and some others. Triki's best recommended teams for Fafnir are Lin, Gabby, Hengyi, and Lu Yi, or Gabby, Hyde, Sally, and Wukong. His set recommendations really depend on if you plan to use him in PvE content or PvP content. If you're running him in your Fafnir team, then you want to build him with high attack, accuracy in a Windwalker set, and Apollo's bow set. But if you're running him in PvP, you want to run him in a Zeus set with Sword Avatar set and focus on building very high HP, as much speed as possible, and as close to 80% accuracy as you can. The reason the Zeus set is so good on him is because that set gives a 20% chance to land a stun. Because Triki's abilities allow him to hit more than once, he will have a 20% chance to land with each hit. So he has more opportunities to stun an enemy. And the reason the sword set works really well as a set of 2 with the Zeus set is because it gives a 25% chance to counterattack whenever the person wearing it receives damage. So it gives even more of an opportunity to land a stun or for his passive ability to come into play. If you don't have these sets available because they are more late game sets to get, especially the Zeus set. You can run him in a Windwalker set and Apollo's Bow set, but he will need high defense in addition to the other stats I mentioned before. He is a great counter to Espers like Clara, Sally, Hang You, or anyone that can do a cleanse. This is because of his passive ability. For example, if you were going up against the Clara on the enemy team and you used your Triki, you would want to start out with either his third ability, if he gets to go first. If not, the fastest person on the team needs to be somebody that's placing debuffs, and they need to go before him. That way, when Clara or whatever cleanser is used on the team takes their turn and cleanses the debuffs we put on them previously, they will become petrified, so they won't be able to take a turn, and the cleanser will also lose 30% of their current HP. A nice fun fact is that Triki was actually the first legendary Esper I ever pulled. If you're a new player looking for help, or if you're an experienced player willing to share advice, join my growing Discord community. The link for that will be in the description below. I hope you enjoyed learning all about Triki. Thanks for watching. Once again, it's the Mad Queen, and I'll catch you in the next video.